Yeah,
I should
okay.
still be able to hear myself. 1 2 1 2.
1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Jordan.
I can't hear myself though.
I can't hear me.
One. Could you try and unplug the XLR for a second?
One two one two 1 2.
Can you hear us? You can? Awesome, cool.
Alright.
Do you want me to boost from my end? 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. I'll lower our headphones.
Yeah, please. If you
1
wouldn't
2.
mind, that'd be great. Perfect. Jin, do you want me to move this iPad? Because it's going to get wet otherwise. Jin, do you want me to move this? Because it's going to get rained on. Yeah, I just don't want it to get damaged, that's all. Yeah, can do. That should be fine, yeah.
One, two, three, four. Hello, hello, hello.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2.
Levels are all good. It's not going to distort if we go a bit loud. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. I'm going to pull myself down. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4.
1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2.
Let's go. Let's go.
Round 23 of NPL Victoria men's action here from a wet and windy Frank Holohan reserve. a month to go in the season. Both of these teams we're about to see tonight are in the finals race. The Oakleigh Cannons travelling to Dandenong City in this top 7 clash. Oakleigh are in the top 6 at the moment. Dandenong are 1 point just outside. Jordan Canellis with you here, streaming right around the world on YouTube for NPL Victoria men's action with a month to go in the season. Ollie Walker-Peel is alongside me. Hello, Ollie.
Hello, Jordan. Hello, all. And as you say, top 7 clash, tantalising, a big game for Dandenong City. We spoke about it off air that Oakleigh can have their passage to the top 6 and 5.
Let's go.
Absolutely assure themselves of finals. So a draw here tonight or in any of their remaining fixtures and they are in, so it's obviously more likely than not that they will be playing in finals. But for Dandenong City, this is their last sort of really tough game, because their next 3 games after this, not to look ahead too far, but they play the bottom 3 sides on the NPL ladder in the weeks beyond tonight. So they are absolutely thinking that finals, as they should, that finals is certainly on the cards, but tonight is going to be a big game to ramp them into this last month, Ollie.
Yeah, absolutely. And you would have thought that those final 3 games might have been fraught with danger if you looked at them maybe a month ago when those sides were still in and around it. You'd think that those bottom 3 are likely in VPL next season. They've got a massive mountain to climb, so maybe it's an opportunity for Dandy City to get some much-needed points, and this is probably the toughest game of the 4, as you mentioned. It's got to start tonight.
Having to battle the weather as well. When we got here tonight, Ollie, it was pretty dry. It was actually nice and pleasant. It was a bit mild, actually. It wasn't too cold. But now the wind and the rain has come. The temperature's dropped, so having to battle the conditions too.
It is, and we have to battle them slightly less than the players do. For those that have never been to this ground before, they've built up a brand spanking new gantry that protects you from the elements a little bit more, but the rain is blowing into us, which isn't ideal. Hands are freezing cold, but our job is to broadcast, and we'll do it even in these conditions.
Absolutely. We're not complaining at all. Let's go through the 11s then for tonight's encounter, starting off with the home side, Dandenong City, who make the 2 changes. Diego Cuba goes down to the bench from last week's side, as does Kenny Athieu. Coming into the 11 is Will Bauer and Donny Gurdich. So the 11 is Matthew Maram in goals again for the 3rd week straight after he took over from Pierce Clark between the sticks. In defence, Corey Sewell will be in there, along with Gaku Inaba, Donny Gurdich, and TB7, who starts right back. We expect it might be Danny Kim. Could be Thomas Yanakopoulos as well, or Yanakopoulos in midfield alongside Jamie Latham. And the attacking 4 will be Timay Thorinos, Will Bauer, Vali Chesnik, and Yago Mustafa, with Pierce Clark on the bench with Kenny Athieu and Diego Cuba, as I mentioned, as well as Oscar Colgate-Jones, Jackson Leno, and Malik Abuzbar. The Oakleigh team, Ollie, have you got that in front of you?
Absolutely. It's a pretty settled Oakleigh team. It'll be pretty similar to what we've seen in weeks past as we have got this game underway. Jack Warshawski is in goal. It'll be a back 4 of Brody Boyce, Jordan Hall, Connor Hampson, and Ajak Dayu. Noah Holmes ahead of them in the midfield. It's likely to see him anchoring that side as there's an early building chance for Dandenong City here. Perhaps we'll the rest of the team when we get a minute, as the ball is all back to recent acquisition in Donny Gurdich. Attackers ahead of them. Kingsley Sinclair will be inside that midfield with Joe Guest anchoring as the 10. Front 3 of Adam Juratovic. Side Asad Kasumovic. 2 of those 3. Asad Kasumovic to complete that 11, and it's 11 with the attacking players that they've got, that it's full of attacking talent, and that's why Oakleigh are where they are.
Absolutely, certainly are. And only the 1 change for Oakleigh from their side last week. Cam McGilp goes out of that team, so that's the change in midfield. And the early look is that Vali Chesnik will be at right back, Yago Mustafa on the right, and Will Bauer through the middle as the short free kick taken here by Dandenong City, who are in the white tonight, Oakleigh in the navy blue. Here's Mustafa, who rifles it in, and that's over the byline, corner.
Yeah, we talked about it off the top when you were looking through that 11, Jordan, about we weren't quite sure who was going to be where. They've got a lot of versatile players down in Dandenong City. You've got Chesnik, who can play further forward, slotting in at right back as it looks here, but they've got a lot of players who can be put around into many different positions, and maybe the Dandenong City coaching staff might be having a look at that as we get ready for the corner.
It'll be Jamie Latham who's going to swing this one in for Dandenong City. As there's movement near the front post, he floats it towards the back, and that's a nice claim from Warshawski for Oakleigh. And skids off the slick turf. Out of play.
Interesting one if you look at the form lines between these two. Dandenong City have never beaten Oakleigh here, a small sample size of 4 games. Oakleigh have taken 10 points from 12 available in the league here, 3 wins and a draw. Chesnick, who probably had his best game in his NPL men's Victoria career down the road at Dandenong Thunder when he scored 4 in a game for Port Melbourne. Sliced up high, has given something to chase Juratovic, well watched by Donny Gurdic, who then sent it high. Former Western Sydney Wanderer, came across from Sydney Olympic in the mid-season transfer window. At a time when Dandenong City had a lot of defenders out with injury or suspension, he was needed as some reinforcement, and he's acquitted himself well since arriving in Victorian football circles. One back by Chesnick of Dandenong City, who gives Will Bauer something to chase. Warshawski well out of his area to send it into touch. And he has been really impressive, Jack Warshawski, for signing from the Mariners, made a super save late in the piece against the Melbourne Knights to preserve the points there. They've had an embarrassment of riches over the years in terms of goalkeepers. It's thrown in towards Jamie Latham. Broke rather kindly for Kim, who will spray it over towards the left-hand side after Renos had a little bit of trouble taking it down, but rolled it on. Here's Corey Sewell, who will try and loft one in. Warshawski watchful. Did he keep it in play? Answer to that is no, it's behind for another corner.
We'll have to watch that tonight, the goalkeepers, with the slippery ball. That one just coming out of the grasp of Jack Warshawski. Pretty close to his byline, so another set piece here for Dandenong City. I've got the running early on, about 4 minutes in.
And it's a point well made, because if you're not covering your front post, it might be one. Of course, we've got 2 very quality keepers out there. Matt Merrim hasn't seen a lot of league action, but Warshawski and Merrim are both good goalkeepers, so they might be tested tonight as Jamie Latham, the Welshman, is set to send this in for Dandenong City. Will do so right-footed in towards the middle. Warshawski getting something on it to clear the penalty area. Chesnick to recycle. Floats it back in. Still not fully dealt with. And Guest will send it away towards the touchline. It'll be Kim who will make sure of it. Out of play for an Oakleigh throw.
Looking for a new ball here. That one was wellied right out of the field of play by Danny Kim. So a new ball coming in from the sideline.
First action of the night for our referee tonight, Lockie Keevers. One of the best referees we've got in the state, so it's great to see him preside over what is a massive game, really, particularly for Dandenong City, but for Oakleigh too on the Friday Night Lights. It's a big game and a good referee to oversee it.
A throw from Hampson. Headed down by Chesnick. Oakleigh run out of space quickly. That was good closing down in midfield by Dandenong City. They'll get a second chance here. Oakleigh, cut out by Chesnick. Here's Mustafa, sliding his way through midfield, getting his way past Sinclair. Yanakopoulos will spread it out to Aetherinos on the far side. Having to stop and no avenue to go through. Here's Chesnick again. This time it's Oakleigh. We've got that block on and it's miscontrol from Jamie Latham. We'll see the Cannons try and shift the field. Feels like the intensity of the rain has just eased off a little bit. It is still raining, but it doesn't feel like it's coming down as hard. Sent long by Hampson. Chesnick wants to usher that out of play. He does. So for the Oakleigh Cannons, they've had 2 wins and 2 draws in their last month of football. They had a catch-up game before their game against Hume City. So 4-0 win against Hume, and then the 3-3 draw against Melbourne Knights, which they would have looked to have got a lot more from that. But haven't lost in a little while. They did falter just after the halfway mark of the season briefly, the Cannons. Knocked forward by Dench. Looked like a handball against Danny Kim. Let go by the referee. Sent in low by Juratovic. Just weren't the numbers there for Oakleigh. Mustafa again. Took his eye off the ball in the wet conditions. He'll go back to Matt Marum. Most spectators taking refuge under the grandstand behind the goals. A couple of brave souls that are out there on the far side along the fence. Marum will send it long. It'll favour Oakleigh. It wasn't a good clearance at all. Latham will lay it in for Mustafa. He runs out of room. Oakleigh throw at left back.
Often think about rain as the great equaliser. We'll have to see if it is that way tonight. As Hampson looks down the line, chested down by Chesnick. Latham all the way back for Gurditch. A couple of appearances for Western Sydney in his time there at the club. Man born in Šibenik in Croatia, but his team won't be able to make anything out of that, is it? Just behind for a goal kick. Warshawski made 4 appearances for Central Coast in his time there, none in the A-League men's competition. It was exclusively in the AFC Cup and Australia Cup where he made his bouts for the Gosford club. Sent high by Hall. Done by Gurditch. Sinclair back with interest. Towards the left-hand side, it'll be then to try and send it in. Wouldn't quite then fall for Guest. Giannakopoulos heads away. Boyce. Fired it low to Atherinos, and maybe there's a chance here for Dandenong City to break. Bauer looking for Latham. Dayu in to make a play on the ball, and he had to really, or else Dandenong City might have been in. Side down, Giannakopoulos. Keepers will allow the advantage as Bauer flicks on. Mustafa face to face with Connor Hampson on the Dandenong City right. Chesnick trying to work a yard. Got the ball stuck underneath his feet and did well to keep hold. Call to start again, and that is what Dandenong City will do with Gurditch. Just over to the left-hand side, Corey Sewell. Receive it back on the 1-2. To work the ball in field, Boyce was good. Oakleigh should be able to get away from here. Boyce's clearance not his best. Giannakopoulos picking it back up for the hosts. Chesnick again. Called back. This is what we've seen from Nick Tolios-led teams, even though he's not in the dugout tonight. Nick Tolios, he's, according to the NPL Victoria podcast, he's sunning himself in Greece. There's worse places to be in the world, I'm sure.
Absolutely, especially tonight.
I bet he's watching on the live stream, pretty happy that he's not facing these rather adverse conditions. Might be laughing at us from the other side of the screen, who knows.
And his team have control of the game, don't they? 10 minutes in, they're the ones that are putting their foot down in this contest.
But just to complete the point, it's like his teams are happy to keep possession of the ball, play it around and tire you out, and that's what his team are doing here. Chesnick looking low with the ball central. Giannakopoulos trying to roll it back, and Dayu was there. His pass telegraphed though by Chesnick, who fired in. Bauer with a heavy touch, and it allowed Hall to clear. Oakleigh 6s and 7s a little bit in the last minute. Not something we're used to seeing from a Chris Taylor-led team who traditionally leads very defensively sound sides. There's cracks appearing even in the opening 11 minutes, as that's going to run out of play for an Oakleigh throw.
So can they try and shift the field here again, Oakleigh? They've had a couple of opportunities at trying to do this, but haven't really made many inroads against this Dandenong City outfit. And that'll be a foul going Dandenong City's way. So just as Oakleigh thought they might have been able to take territory, it'll be conceded again. Matt Marum coming up. So Dandenong City are in, essentially at the moment, direct competition with Hume City for the 6th spot on the table. Not that that's the only position that can be grasped. Preston Lions are also within touching distance, a further 3 points ahead. Dandenong City are trying to open up a bit of space here through Bauer. Holmes comes in and cuts it out. Boyce's clearance was smothered out there by Kim. And Akopoulos leaves it for Sewell. Knocked away by Hall. Good duel to be won there by Sewell again. Once more, it's punched away by Hall. Dandenong City will concede that attack, but they'll go around the horn and try this side now on the broadcast side. Chesnick had the right idea, looking for Aetherinos down the inside channel, but just didn't execute it properly. Oakleigh will try and counter quickly, and that's good recovering from Valley Chesnick. Getting back quickly on his side. Leaves it for Gurditch. And now Latham. The metronome in midfield. He's got Mustafa calling for it on the right wing. Just watching Valley Chesnick off the ball. He's drifting forward a little bit, so that sort of inverted fullback to overload midfield. Inaba went right through the middle and straight to Warshawski.
It was Yaqub Mustafa who had slotted in at right back, but he's immediately then drifted further forward with Chesnick retaking the spot at right back, so maybe want to watch off the ball.
And Hume are in action against Port Melbourne later on tonight as well. So if results go their way, Dandenong can finally try and break free of 7th position, which they've been in for quite a few weeks now, and just get their nose in front in the top 6. Of course, that is with no disrespect to the Sharks, it is the notionally easier game to play the last place Port Melbourne Sharks in the relegation zone for Hume. But Dandenong City making a good fist of this right now against a top 4 side. Depriving Oakleigh of the ball and making them suffer that little bit more in the weather. No pathway to move through there on the outer side for Dandenong City, out of play. Here's Dayu. He's positioned himself well on a number of times that the ball has gone into the 18-yard box. He's been the rock at the back for Oakleigh. Distribution cut out by Yanakopoulos. As Dayu again anticipated it well. Sinclair runs into a dead end. Sees an outlet in Guest to the right. Starting to roll a little bit here, Oakleigh. They've got numbers in the area. Juratovic is in there with Sinclair. If they can just try and work out a final ball. Was there a hand? There's something there on the edge of the area. And this is going to be an Oakleigh free kick in a very good spot.
Yeah, he was quick on it, wasn't he? Asad Kasimovic on the right-hand side. Threw his arm up straight away as if to indicate that there was a handball. He was in a great position in which to see it, and given, of course, that he wanted a free kick, he was going to appeal. Lockie Keever's agreeing with him there. This is a free kick in a dangerous spot. Connor Hampson and Joe Guest, the likely two over this. Wouldn't be too surprised if it's Joe Guest to pull rank, given the form he's been in.
Yeah, it certainly looks like Guest is the one that's shaping up. You've got the alternative of Kasimovic, who is on the wrong side here for a right footer against the angle. Might be the short run up of Guests. The wall is set. Matt Marum is in position, the goalkeeper for Dandy City. Here comes Guests. Strikes it, and it's just gone over the top corner of the goal face. Not a bad effort from the skipper, Joe Guest, but ultimately didn't challenge Matt Marum too much.
It's really the first proper attempt we've seen from Oakleigh tonight.
Suppose the one thing you would say about a free kick from that position, it's maybe sometimes hard to get the ball up and down over the wall. So
It's almost too close.
yeah, I guess knowing that, tried to go keeper's side to try and go around and go top corner rather than up and over as you might traditionally see. He's a clever footballer, Joe Guest, so it's not beyond him at all to think of something like that, and he couldn't quite pull it off. Flicked on by Giannakopoulos. Hampson watchful all the way back to Warshawski. Just on Hampson and Guest, by the way, they were both at one point standing over that free kick before Hampson left it. Two former players of Curzon Ashton back in England.
Quite a lot of exponents from Curzon Ashton in the NPL Victoria, isn't there?
They've got two of the best of them out here tonight.
NPL Victoria breeding ground.
Perhaps you maybe wouldn't expect it. Not sure if Curzon Ashton have that as their hope and ambition to recruit players for Victorian football, but it's working for them, I suppose. And for Oakleigh. Over for Dench, who will keep it in, send it central. Twisting and turning with Sinclair, and he's won his team a corner. Did well there. Kingsley Sinclair back to goal. Looks like the options were up against him as to what to do, but he's done well to buy a corner.
Yeah, fashioned that pretty well, actually, Kingsley Sinclair. Certainly outnumbered, so they've done very well for themselves.
Joe Guest over the corner in appearance number 148 in the NPL Men's Victoria competition. He'll have 150 all being well before this season's over. Looks towards the back post. It's in the Day direction, who went up again. Area not fully cleared as Dench tried to keep it alive, and Narbert put pay to that. A few more shouts for handball in there. Those not answered with a decision that Oakleigh wanted there by Lockie Keevers, as the free kick was. Always tough ones for a referee to call in there, I'd reckon. Holmes. Hampson. Wasn't quite on the same page as Dench, but it works out as Noah Holmes steps in for Oakleigh. Moves away from Mustafa and rolls left for Dench, who left-footed will send it in. Able to claim there, Matt Marum, who wants to get Dandenong City moving. Two clubs who don't mind playing fast-paced football. Seeing the embers of that here.
Got to say, that was a good run from Noah Holmes. Started off at the edge of his own area between the centre halves and then just glided upfield, beat Mustafa for positioning on that run.
I dare say the intended target of that pass was not Noah Holmes, but he did well to get to the ball first, make sense of what was happening in front of him, and then, as you say, burst clear of Yagud Mustafa with relative ease, which is not easy. Saul wasn't on the same page as Valley Chesnick, who then immediately raised their hand in apology for not continuing his run. Jack Day, who's been super impressive across the past couple of weeks particularly. Oakleigh messing around with it a bit, and Day was called into action to send it clear up towards halfway. All's well that ends well, I suppose, from a Cannon's point of view. For now, at least, Giannakopoulos rolling forward for Latham, who will get into the box and will roll it in towards the middle, overcooked it for Bauer. And for a split second, Warshawski might have been a little bit worried that that was heading in. It headed wide, and from his point of view, he was happy to see it.
Put himself in a good area there, Jamie Latham, to pick that up, right in the half space behind the line. Had the Oakleigh defence scrambling. Just the final pass for either Bauer or even Mustafa at the back post. Overshot both of them.
Was probably looking for Bauer. You think he was making the run in at the front post, and Mustafa was not running too hard as if to make an option at the back post, and it probably wasn't one where he could have made the play on it, even if he did. Ball not quite there, but good build-up from Dandenong City.
Latham there. Out by Dayu. Flung in by Chesnick. Bit of holding there from Ajak Dayu. Appeals from the Dandenong City bench.
Chesnick into Latham. Yanakopoulos swings it across to Sewell. Trying to work that in behind the lines for Bauer. Cut out by Hall. Sent in by Sewell again. That didn't have a lot of purchase behind it. Aetherinos picks it up. Chesnick into the feet of Aetherinos, who continued his run. Dayu part of the rearguard action. Holmes there as well. So Oakleigh run this out. Not too many obvious avenues forwards. Dandenong City have most roads closed. And pumped out of play by Inaba. Speed in defence, speed in defensive transition for Dandenong City has been impressive tonight. Every threat with speed that Oakleigh have posed to them has been covered so far in the first quarter-ish of the game. Oakleigh looking to try and turn the screws in this phase of play. Getting numbers forward. It's a nice ball to the edge of the box. Here's Guest. Can he open up some space? Goes down in the area. Waved away by Lockie Keevers. Play allowed to go on as Guest picks himself up now. And now play is halted. Lockie Keevers might have to just organise a few things here as there's appeals coming in from all angles.
Guest was a little bit slow to pick himself up, but Lockie Keevers had his eyes all over that and didn't see anything wrong with it, but he did really well, didn't he, Joe Guest? Just a chop back across to open up a bit of space that in the end closed down because he couldn't quite keep his feet, but he is one to watch if you've somehow stumbled across this live stream and never seen Oakleigh play before. He's the one you earmark, absolutely.
Yep.
Joe Guest, which long-time viewers of this league will know absolutely.
Star of the competition for the last 5 or so years. Joe Guest, a little longer. He'll send this in as well. Cleared off at the first line by Bauer. Oakleigh will ask the questions once more. Guest worked forward. Too heavy for Kasumovic. Just putting together little bursts here, aren't they, Oakleigh?
They are. They've not been so assured at the back, which is the one thing that has probably stuck out to me so far. But once they've got the ball out from the back, when they've got the ball into midfield and forward, they've looked assured, which is what you'd expect of an Oakleigh team. In the last few weeks, as mentioned off the top, have sorted themselves out. A bit of a mid-season stumble, but looks to have recovered from that now. It's Aetherinos who will find Yaqub Mustafa. It's another one who's spent time in the A-League system, made one appearance for Perth Glory, Yaqub Mustafa, although back in 2017, the December of that year against the Mariners. Gurditch on to hit the pass. Well played by Sinclair, who marauds his way down the Oakleigh left, moves it central. Guest will roll it across, turning, shooting, and putting it just wide. Adam Juratovic. Best look of the game so far for Oakleigh.
Yeah, first blistering attack really from Oakleigh. Probably from either side, really. That was a full-blown counter-attack and set up mainly by the run of Sinclair. It looked like Aetherinos had just conceded that he would lose that pass. He probably had more of a chance to collect it than he realised, but Sinclair pounced on the error and then worked the attack into motion, and it was just offline from Adam Juratovic on the spin. It's always a bit hard on that 180 spin when you're not really sure precisely where the base of the post is. Best chance for Oakleigh. Best chance for either side, really.
Bit of a watch on Aetherinos here, who is being watched by Lockie Keevers, our referee. He went over. He's fine to continue, though, by the looks. Hampson over to take this. Probably hasn't had the goal-scoring season that he usually has. He's only got the 3 goals this season as opposed to 7 in his first campaign. Had 3 last year too, but he's capable of more. Holmes. Wants it over to the left for Dench. Back again for Hampson, who drilled it into Danny Kim. Hampson skewed that one high, looking for Juratovic. Dench will watch it go. Hampson to send in low, and in the end rather easy for Matt Maram to deal with. Was really impressive in the Australia Cup run that they had to the final preliminary round when they lost to South Melbourne on penalties. Matt Maram played every match of the Cup run, and it was that form really that forced a question from him to Nick Tolios as to whether Pierce Clark's spot in the 11 was as assured as it looked, and wrestled the gloves off him and has kept them for the last few weeks. Formerly of Rockdale, Illingdon and New South Wales, and now making waves south of the border too, as that's how to play for an Oakleigh throw.
I think it's 3 starts in a row now in the league for Matt Maram after that cup run, so he's been entrusted with a month to go to be the man.
And that first league start came hot on the heels of the South Melbourne loss in the cup as well, so it was one into the other really.
Here's Mustafa. Latham just overwhelmed in midfield by Sinclair. Chesnick working hard down the right. Gurditch across to Inaba. Conceding territory, it's Maram. Sees something he likes on the outer side. Latham. A little indecisive, goes back. Here's Chesnick. Mustafa engaged in a battle with Hampson. That's come off the Dandenong City wing at last. The rain has abated, which is good news. The wind is still around, but not getting pelted by rain anymore, which is a nice little relief. Holmes battling with Mustafa. Mustafa wins the battle. Controlled spell of possession here for Dandenong City after the last 5 or 10 minutes where Oakleigh have had the run of play and have slightly shifted the momentum back in their favour in attack. Atherinos. Mustafa. Ran out of room. Sinclair. Lovely broad pass down the right side. Kasumovic barrelling forward. Halted out there by Sewell. He's met now by Bauer as well, running out of room and out of options. Kasumovic did well enough up to that point, but that was pretty well defended in the end by Corey Sewell, who stopped that attack. And Dandenong City regained possession. Started out as a promising move with that pass from Sinclair, but Sewell closed down the area.
It's really good by Corey Sewell, wasn't it? It looked as though Oakleigh were off and away, or Dandenong City were off and away, pardon me, but got back on terms and helped them out when needed most. He's an experienced campaigner, Corey Sewell, and showed it there as Mustafa finds Kim, who then wanted to prod it on for Bauer and couldn't quite find him. Just shows what a bit of experience can do. We saw a few weeks ago when Dandenong City were hurt at the back through unavailability. It looks a little bit shaky, less so now given that they've got all of their charges back. Chesnick. Aku and Abu, who had played every league game of the campaign up to the Dandenong derby, where he was infamously sent off late in the piece. It's a crazy end to the game, and the red card just about topped it off. Recently back into the fold, though. Kim sprays it out wide for Chesnick, who advances down the right. Gets it onto his left foot and just to swing it towards the back post. Too much on it in the end for Will Bauer, who he wanted. Final third balls have been a little bit lacking, aside from the one played by Guest to Juratovic that sparked the best chance of the game. Particularly for Dandenong City, they've been a little bit lacking in that regard inside the opening 32 minutes or so. Although in saying that, they do have the quality to turn that round.
Yeah, we've seen better final third balls by Oakleigh. I think Dandenong City's trying to control the midfield battle. They've probably got the possession in that, the lion's share of possession in that section of the field, but haven't been able to really link up with the final third, have they?
Not quite.
A few flashes early in the game, opening 10 or so minutes, but haven't quite been able to piece it together of late. Here's Kasumovic. Inaba was quick. Maram has to be decisive. Hampson was authoritative right over the top of Atherinos. Guest blindsided by Kim. Retrieved by Sinclair. And now Ajak Dayu. Hall. Boyce in field, knocked forward by Sinclair, and at the double again, that Dandenong City defence, very decisive. I'll try again, long diagonal from Jordan Hall. Dench touched to slightly let him down. Chesnick has commanded his area of the field.
He's probably won that battle down the Oakleigh left, hasn't he? He's not a traditional fullback. He hasn't played fullback for the entirety of his Victorian footballing career, but he's done well up against Dench, who has now done much off him at the start of this one. Stafford, when he's headed down, Giannakopoulos in. Latham directing traffic, but then electing to roll it back. Switch looked on, and it'll find its way through to Atherinos, whose touch was heavy, rode the challengers. Hampson's beat, he's cut it back. But there's no one there for Dandenong City before Noah Holmes can step in. He rubbed the green a couple of times in that regard. Challenges going in, the ball falling for Dandenong City. Haven't been able to make use of those as they would like. Atherinos for Giannakopoulos. Over to the left-hand side. Latham to lift it in. It's flicked on. Hampson couldn't get a lot on his clearance, but got it through to Dench. He'll claim that it was drawn up that way all along as Dench charges down the left here for Oakleigh. Chesnick step for step with him, and he's dragged down from behind by Matt Dench. You can just hear down below us the applause. That's coming from the Dandenong City bench, who are very appreciative of the efforts of Valley Chesnick.
That was a great battle. He looked beaten for pace by Dench, who had the position on him, but Chesnick, again, as we've said, has been marshalling his area of the field, just held his ground on that battle, and as Dench just hesitated slightly as he was looking infield, Chesnick pounced, smelt blood in the water, and closed him down.
We had the advantage of a replay to look back at that. Chesnick started from a mile back against Dench, and then was still able to run him down, win the ball, and win the free kick, so it was very well played.
Heaved high by Hall. Bodies colliding in the battle. And it's going to be called back by Lockie Keevers for the body contact. Only one or two sort of major chances to speak of from this first half from both teams. Dandenong City's had the possession, Oakleigh's had the opportunities. 10 to go in the first half. Cast forward by Wachorski. Holmes down to Juratovic. Little ricochet nearly worked out for Oakleigh. Cleared away by Dandenong City. Chesnick timed his interception well. Hampton's done well. He's done really well to ride the challengers. Got through more than probably he expected. Just couldn't reach out for that last pass. Boyce steals in on Mustafa. Kasumovic's ball in was shallow. Yanakopoulos will attempt to rumble forward. Loops it over the top for Mustafa. And that's too heavy from Yanakopoulos. Mustafa and Atharinos have swapped sides. Mustafa gives that one away. Sinclair couldn't quite time the pass for Kasumovic down the right.
Just to go around the grounds quickly, Green Gully are 2-1 down against St Albans at half-time. That's the only game in the league that kicked off at 7:30 tonight, so fractionally before this one. Huge City and Port Melbourne, Preston Lions and Melbourne Victory both kicking off at 8:30. The latter of those two games, probably not the one that Melbourne City, or Dandenong City rather, would be watching. But Victory needing the points there, you'd think, because that's how to play for a Dandenong City throw. It's that Hume Port Melbourne game that people of these parts will be looking out for, given how the table reads.
So that'll start at half-time of this game, roughly.
And then, of course, we'll finish a lot later than we will here, but Dandenong City can find themselves into the top 6, at least for a brief time before any result comes in from over in Broadmeadows. Latham. Now with Johnny Gurditch. Right-footed will look over towards the Dandenong City right. Too much on it for Atharinos, and both players knew it. So Connor Hampson will have to play ball boy. He'll be right on the edge of your picture. He's had to go all the way back to the fence to get that one picked up. Had a few instances where the ball's gone a fair while and we've had a little bit of a delay to get it back in.
It's a bit of an abyss, isn't it, this side of Frank Holohan Reserve? If it goes down the hill or if it goes too far out of play, it's could be goodbye football.
And it's hard for us to report that to you if it is or not, because that's the part of the ground that we can't really see behind us.
Yeah, we've got a wall blindsiding us just behind the sideline.
So we can assume that it's gone, or if it's not gone over the fence, it's at least gone all the way back to it. Sewell clips it left. Mustafa took it down out of the sky superbly. Looks for a run at Boyce. Down the Dandenong City left. That didn't eventuate, but it's Sewell who will find Gurditch just forward of halfway here for Dandenong City. They've moved it from left to right. Chesnick for Atharinos, who will try and skip away from Holmes. Hold it forward. Bauer. And again Latham, former Swansea City youngster. Yanakopoulos kept hold of it. Latham. Dandenong City building here. Sent in. Bauer on the turn. Shooting and putting it just wide. Jack Wachorski rooted to the spot. And was just hoping that the net didn't ripple. And once more he watches on as it goes just wide.
Nice build-up from Dandenong City. Patient. And it was a lovely turn from Will Bauer to open up a yard, get himself facing the goal face, but just sliced the shot away from Jack Wachorski's goal in the end. He was a bit rooted to the spot, Jack Wachorski, but maybe he also knew that was sailing wide.
Probably looked. So I was going to say, probably looked closer from this angle than it actually was.
I think so, yeah, just a little bit. But it was still good interplay, though, around the edge of the area from Dandenong City. Battle to be won in the centre circle here for Oakleigh. Sinclair has been really combative in the middle of the park again. Bit of holding from Yanakopoulos. Sinclair keeps on, lays it in for Guest. And really well done off his line. Matt Marum saw the pass coming in early and met it at its point just as Guest was getting there too. That's really good anticipation from the goalkeeper.
It's good football all around, wasn't it? It was good by Sinclair. Great run. Good ball, put enough weight on it for Guest to be a chance, but Marum, as you say, in anticipation of what was coming, and he dealt with it well.
Into the final few minutes of regulation time in the first half. Proper arm wrestle between these two sides who are looking finals bound. As we stated off the top of tonight's coverage, Oakleigh only need 1 point from their last 4 games to absolutely secure themselves mathematically of finals football. So they could go 1 draw and 3 losses essentially from their last month. Not that that will probably happen, but that's all they need to get into finals. Whereas Dandenong City, they're 1 point outside the top 6 right now. But after tonight, they play the bottom 3 teams on the NPL Victoria table. So the draw gets easy for them. And really, they should be expecting to win all 3 of those games after tonight. And if they can pick up a point or a couple of points tonight, that would be even better for Nick Tolios' men. They've been positioned just outside the top 6 for quite some weeks now. Can they try and find the opener here? Bauer was stuck on the byline. Hall races out of defence. Dandenong City once again closing down. Oakleigh winning back possession. Flung forward by Marum. And offside.
Talk about Oakleigh earlier on. Needing 1 point to qualify for finals, of course. A home final is very well in their sights as well. Of course, with the renovations at Jack Edwards, they'd be hoping for a home final. They'd be hoping the new stands open. Both of those things potentially could happen. But 1 point just to make sure they're in the 6. Which could even be a foregone conclusion by the end of the night. Dench flicked on smartly, going over Juratovic. Wanted a free kick, but it'll be a throw instead here for Oakleigh, who have more than enough time to get the opener themselves as we're into the final minutes of the 45. Hampson to take the throw. Gets it back from Guest. Ball in, not to his lofty standards, as Atharinos might be set away. Deu was watchful, as was Jordan Hall, to make sure that nothing happened out of that. We'll get 1 minute of added time at the end of the first half. Probably about right, given the way things have gone. All the way back from Tim Atharinos. Harbour for Yanakopoulos, who's controlled things at the base of the midfield for Dandenong City when he's had the chance. Boyce looks down the line towards Guest. It'll be sent to the hill by Corey Sewell as the last seconds of the first half tick away. Thrown in towards Juratovic. Narber did enough as Sewell's clearance is blocked. And that'll do, says Lockie Keevers. First half left wanting a little bit. Oakleigh with the better of the chances. Had a couple of good ones. Adam Juratovic on the half turn just flashed an effort wide as Matt Marum was rooted to the spot and was never going to make the save. A chance down the other end too was Will Bauer. Had a similar type of effort go wide after making the turn, couldn't quite supply the finish. We are, as we started, here as we move to the break at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. It's Dandenong City 0, Oakleigh 0. Welcome back to a very cold but slightly drier Frank Holohan Soccer Complex, Dandenong City. And the Oakleigh Cannons are in town, and even if the Cannons are in town, no one has fired past the other team's goalkeeper. It's 0-0 at the break as we start the second half, as we started the first. Oakleigh kicking off via Adam Juratovic. Personnel-wise, it's the same 11 for both. It started the first, it will start the second, which is now underway. Oliver Walker-Peel is my name. Alongside me is Jordan Canellis, who we'll get the thoughts of in just a moment. Dave forward cut out by Corey Sewell, who had an impressive first half. Fires forwards. Bauer will try and run it down, and he will get there. First time ball in with the left foot. Dangerous delivery, and Mustafa couldn't turn it home. Perhaps because of the play of Connor Hampson, who got something on it to turn it behind. If not for him, it might have been 1-0 Dandenong City. Jordan Canellis.
Well, what a way to start the second half, Ollie. That was blistering stuff from Dandenong City. This game just needs a goal to open things up. Like, we saw open play at times in the first half. It was the first half that kind of threatened to be a bit more open than it was. We still had good moments. Now we just need a goal to try and liven things up.
Probably would have had it if not for Connor Hampson's work, as the resulting corner is sent in, didn't clear the front post. Not Jamie Latham's best delivery, but he'll get another go at it from a second successive Dandenong City corner. Atherinos had gone short. He has gone back, and it will go short this time. It's a 1-2 as Latham gets it back, swings it in, and once more he can't clear the front post. Latham again, third time lucky perhaps, stands this one up, back post, Wachowski up early to take the claim over the top of Will Bauer. And was a little bit frustrated that Bauer got in his wheelhouse, as he at least feigned to clear. At most would have sent Oakleigh forward. Whether it was the former or latter in the thoughts of Jack Wachowski, only he'll know, but still an opportunity for to throw the arms out for him, but in the end, nothing more of that, I suppose. Just getting updates over the tannoy about the rest of the games going on. We'll get those scores to you in a moment. Sinclair have a chance down the left-hand side. It's an early ball from Dench, who wanted Guest, couldn't find him. Now, Dandenong City will elect to send away through JB Latham out of play for a throw. A few games going on around the league that we'll get the scores up to you in a minute.
The rain staying away at half-time has been a positive as well, as that one probably would have been offside as that will roll through for Matt Marum. And it's still a bit windy, which means that a lot of the surface level area has dried up quickly. And obviously the ground is going to hold a bit more moisture clearly, but I think might not be as slick as long as the rain stays away, of course, in this second half along the surface of the deck, which is good. Around the ground, so the only game that has goals in it so far is Green Gully and St Albans, which is on the hour mark right now. St Albans up 2-1. And the two games that started at 8:30, which are 20 minutes old now in each of those contests, Hume City and Port Melbourne, and Preston and Melbourne Victory, both at 0-0. As Oakleigh threatening here, and that's last-ditch defending from Inaba. And he's done well to not only clear it away, but doubly win himself and his team a foul. Putting his body on the line, Gaku Inaba, the man from Osaka. Played lower league Japanese football a couple of years ago before coming over.
He was in the academy at Cerezo Osaka, that one of the bigger clubs in Japan. He came across from Reimira Mori in the Japanese lower leagues, played in J2 as well, but spent a little bit more time in the 4th tier. That's where Reimira Mori placed themselves while he was there. It's been up and down the pyramid a little bit in Japan. As Holmes steps in, the former West United NPL talent. Looked for Dench, couldn't find him. It might eventually get through to Dench. Kasumovic making the run at the back post! Oh. And Gaku Inaba got something on the ball that could have gone anywhere. Lucky for him, went behind for only a corner for Oakleigh. It could have been so much worse from his point of view.
Just as we were talking him up, Inaba just flung a stray leg at that one, and that easily could have gone past his own goalkeeper. Luckily for him, it skimmed off with some angle towards the byline, but that was risky stuff, facing your own goal, flinging a stray leg out.
Guest to swing in the corner, left-footed. And that's headed behind. He'll get another go at it. Joe Guest was a gold medalist back in 2019. In the early stages of his Oakleigh career. Wouldn't be surprised if he's got another one round his neck an awards night. After this season, he's been absolutely brilliant again. Left-footed corner towards the back post. Marham got something on it. It's behind for a third successive corner. What do they say in cricket? 3 maidens brings a wicket. Does 3 corners bring a goal here for Oakleigh?
Flapped a little bit at that one, Marham. I don't quite know if he was sure where he was through the air and through the scrum of players on the penalty spot, but got enough to it and caused enough chaos throwing his body in the way.
It'll be the New Zealander, Kingsley Sinclair, who will take this. Rather than guess, it's right-footed towards Dench at the front post. Sinclair again to send in, puts a bit of curve on it. Still not fully dealt with. Marham able to call his defenders away and make the claim. That was more assured than his previous effort.
Good speed off the line. He's done that a couple of times. We saw him close down a chance that Joe Guest had in the first half by dashing off his line quickly, and that occasion there he read the play well. Came off his line and eased off the danger. Here's Latham for Dandenong City. He's got 2 for company. Can he split the gap? He almost does. Boyce closes him down at the last. And sent away by Dayu. Bauer couldn't link up. Quick transition down the other end from Dandenong City. Sewell knocks it forward for Latham. Ran into Noah Holmes. Danny Kim. Sewell over the top for Bauer, and we all were waiting for the flag. The line of 4 from Oakleigh in defence all looked across to their right, and the flag goes up for offside.
It's one of those sometimes where you've just got to wait for the assistant referee on the far side just to get in line with where the infraction was. Everyone knew that it was offside, but just had to wait a split second for all formalities to take place. Not bad for the theatre too. The assistant referee knows it's coming, knows that all eyes are sort of going to go to them, and then can just make the call then and there. Marham looks high. It's opportunity for Gaku and Naba to get up to try and deal with that. And a play for an Oakleigh throw for Brodie Boyce, who was man of the match on his Oakleigh debut. The Community Shield win over Bentley a couple of seasons back. Hasn't looked back since. It's only a relatively inexperienced footballer. 7 for the Queenslander in this division. He's only 23. So his best football ahead of him. Juratovic opens the game up for Connor Hampson, who will elect to hit one. It's straight at Marham, who juggled it a slight bit, but was able to complete the job. Always a little bit interesting when a goalkeeper doesn't take it at the first opportunity. You just wonder where it might go, but he was aware of his surroundings, Matt Marham, and didn't really have anyone around him that if he'd have spilled it, could make a play on the ball. Looked assured, hasn't he, Matt Marham, in the last couple of weeks? And aside from the one that he maybe flapped at from the corner, same again tonight for him.
Having to do a bit more defending here at Dandenong City compared to the first half. Cast upfield by Yanakopoulos. Neat touch from Latham to find Bauer. He got bundled over in the aftermath, and referee Lockie Keevers thought there was no advantage there for Bauer, so he's going to bring it back.
It was good play from Latham and good refereeing from Lockie Keevers. He was waiting to see if there was any advantage there. He got clattered, Jamie Latham, well after playing the ball, and Lockie Keevers, the referee, was watchful to see if there was any advantage there. There wasn't. It was Jordan Hall who clattered into him, and he's brought it back for the free kick. It's Latham over it. Decent position. You've maybe wanted a fraction further back, as we talked about in the first half. Maybe a bit of a struggle to get it up and over the wall that is inside the box, but have to see if he shoots or elects otherwise from this.
I'd love to have Diego Cuba out there, who scored a brilliant free kick from similar distance a couple of weeks ago. Slightly different angle. There's a bit more front on that one. But Latham would favour his right foot from this angle. He sends it into the back post, and it has been bundled in. Dandenong City opened the scoring, and it looks like it was Inaba who might have got the final touch onto that one. He just took a bit of pace off it, Jamie Latham. When you thought he might have gone direct, he let it float to the 6-yard box. Dandenong City had the runners, and they've got the opening goal. And it's a critical goal as well. Every goal counts with a month left in the season. They are pushing for the top 6, and that is the best way to open their account here tonight. A couple of minutes into the second half.
And it's Gaku Inaba's first for Dandenong City in the league. That was an inch-perfect delivery, wasn't it, from Jamie Latham? We were talking about whether he might shoot, whether he was going to cross. That is a world-class delivery. Put it to the perfect spot, top of the 6-yard box. Question in the mind of Jack Walshaulski, could he come and claim it? Could he deal with it? And Gaku Inaba was there, made a great run and was able to bundle it home for his first for Dandenong City, first in the league. And he's got something other than his red card to take with him in this league campaign. I'm sure he'd rather the goal than the red card, absolutely.
Yeah, the red card was to now the only significant sort of stat or sort of event that had happened from a stat sheet perspective. So critical time to get the goal.
It's not just zeros everywhere else. It's still a binary stat line, if you like, of ones and zeros, but there's another one to join the one in the red card column. What a crucial goal it might be, absolutely, for the context of Dandenong City's season. They'd be briefly inside the top 6 with a draw. A win would have their status more entrenched. Even if you might have something to say about that with their game going on. Sinclair, Holmes. Bit going on down below us. So Oakleigh look to build. Pass from Guest was offline, and his opposite number 10 in Yagub Mustafa can move it away. Wanted Atharinos. Boyce was able to sort that out. It's now Juratovic to Kasumovic. Kasumovic for Oakleigh. The early ball couldn't clear the front post. Latham towards Mustafa. It's sent high by Ajak Dayu. Then off the arm of Yagub Mustafa as he tried to control. Forward by Hampson. Mentioned Ajak Dayu there. He's displaced Jacob Trapp from the Oakleigh back four in recent weeks. He's been very assured. He's been highly thought of for a long time. Was in the system at Western United for a few years. Couldn't break through there. Gone to Oakleigh, which is notoriously a very hard team to crack, particularly if you're out of the 11 and there's no forced changes. It's a very hard team to break into, and Ajak Dayu has done that superbly. Outside of the football, Latham is just offside. And the cries and the horns from down below will tell you that everyone affiliated with Dandenong City disagreed with that decision. It looked very close.
It was very close. That was very close. That was a promising move. That was the final ball from Latham. Looked like it was going to be onto something good, but yeah, that would have been a very, very close offside call. Having a brief look at the replay, it is hard to see where precisely the offside might have come from, but that's the call.
No official VAR in the league. There was jokes earlier in the season that this spot, given where it is, just above the touchline, is the unofficial VAR, but that's beyond our pay grade, unfortunately.
We could be qualified as a VAR assistant or semi-automatic.
I don't know if you'd want me in that engine room. Goodness. Corey Sewell is seated just inside the field of play here, by the way. I'm not sure if it's just a tying of the lace or something more concerning. Looks as though he's got all of his ducks in a row.
Yeah, I think because there was no sort of physio or assistant that was coming out to him, that it's all fine. Here's Giannakopoulos. Wriggles out of a tight spot, impressively. Will Bauer plays it in for Mustafa. He's got Atharinos to his inside. Mustafa cuts inside. Slight slip, lays it off. Could be a chance. Shut down at the last. That was last-ditch defending from Oakleigh. They will attempt to counter. And there's going to be a yellow card as Noah Holmes was felled in midfield. The first caution, Valley Chesnick goes into the book.
It was Latham there in the middle who'd received the pass from Mustafa. Took a touch. If it had gone first time, probably would have had a better look at things.
I think it was Hampson who just got in his way.
Card 2 there, I think, for Yaqub Mustafa. In the aftermath of all of that, card was flashed in his direction very, very late. So there might have been a couple of yellow cards for Dandenong City players there. There's protestations from Mustafa to the referee. That went on a little bit too long for Lockie Kiva's liking, so yellow cards for Chesnick and Mustafa in all of that. Chesnick's third and Mustafa's first of the season. So neither of them in any suspension troubles in that regard as Dench finds Hampson. He skipped in field away from one and not a second. Broke kindly for Kingsley Sinclair, who had a look, was blocked and then sent high by the recently carded Yaqub Mustafa. Holmes stepped in, fairly so. His shot charged down. Broke for Kasumovic, who sent it in early. Again, it couldn't quite clear the front post. Holmes at the fall of it. As Mustafa wanted to break away, sent it down the line. Tight-roping the touchline was Latham. He kept it in. Here's Jamie Latham. Running down the Dandenong City left. He went over and he was fouled. What a bit of play by Jamie Latham. First to keep it in and then to win the free kick.
He has been the spark in this second half for Dandenong City, hasn't he? And he's got himself a free kick in a pretty similar spot. It's probably only a yard or so, maybe further in from where he set up the goal for Inaba. But there's been, 2, 3, 4 maybe times now that Jamie Latham has gone on a tearing run, found some space. He's floating into wider areas as well in this second half and just exploiting some of those gaps that Oakleigh have left open for him and what he's been able to do with not only carrying the ball forward but just clever touches around the edge of the box has created pretty much all of Dandenong City's opportunities here in the second half.
And again, it's those two in Latham and Bauer standing over the dead ball. Of course, it was Latham's delivery that set up Gaku Inabu for the goal that broke the deadlock. This is slightly closer, and so there's probably more of a thought of a shot here for Jamie Latham in spite of what he's already done. It's a three-man wall here for Oakleigh. Looks as though Will Bauer has left Jamie Latham to it.
A very direct sort of run-up, doesn't he? Like he's going to run right into this ball.
Will be Latham, who will get it over the wall, went keeper's side. We saw that in the first half with Joe Guest. And much like Joe Guest's effort, it's ended up over the top.
Yeah, he was looking directly for that top corner. I think that was a knuckleball attempt, what he was trying there, Jamie Latham. It was definitely a lot straighter, his run-up. The previous set piece he had to set up the Inaba goal, he was sort of flared his approach a little wider to curl it in. That one he just tried to knock right into the top corner. And now Oakleigh will try and answer back. Down the left. It's an impressive move to get it into the area. Guest beats one. Gets around a couple more. Denied. Cleared by Dandenong City. Joe Guest trying to pick the lock of the Dandenong defence.
Some save that by Matt Marum. Big time save. Guest got himself into a great position, but couldn't get it past him.
They'll come in again, but that was audacious from Noah Holmes, and Marum a bit more comfortably dives on top of this one. Yeah, that was a proper save from Marum with his feet at the front posts. Had to get down low. And that'll be a Dandenong City throw here on this near sideline. Sewell will take the throw. Mustafa. Into the
backside of Kasumovic. No changes yet. We've played about 65 minutes and still no one's come up to the sideline. Sewell. Hall did really well. Gerdic's pass just swings away from Chesnick. Oakleigh sensed their opportunity. And they'll run at Dandenong City. That was just a little bit agricultural on the outer side.
Stench the player fouled. He's been impressive, hasn't he? Down the Oakleigh left.
Had his battles tonight against Valley Chesnick. It's been a good one. Boyce floats it down the line. Juratovic and Inaba holding each other up. Kept in along the sideline. It's the Dandenong City bench appealing for the throw. Sinclair keeps the play moving. Ball sent in. And Dandenong City clear their lines. Had to have a couple of bites at that, Inaba. Sinclair to Dayu. And now they'll try and rumble forward down the outer side here, Oakleigh. It's a wild cross, really. It was a promising move, but just the finishing, the final ball wasn't there at all. They're trying a few things. It feels like they're trying a few different things here, Oakleigh. They're just trying to create a few lateral opportunities, going out wide a bit more than what they were doing in the first half.
It was Connor Hampson's cross that, if you're Oakleigh, you don't want it anywhere else in terms of a player to send the ball in. Looks like there's action on the Dandenong City bench, by the way. Kenny Athew is getting ready to come on, in spite of the fact that his team are a goal up. Kasumovic on the turn, prodded it forward, but cut out by Gaku Inaba. Sewell. Kim. Forward by Inaba. Skewed away from Latham. Stepping in there, Chesnick, who rolled it right. That was Therinos to hit it, then tried to keep it alive. Line for a goal kick. Action on the bench. And Kenny Athew will be coming on here. It's appearance number 22 in the season for him. He's sat on 9 goals, the number 9. One of the premier forwards in this league. It'll be Timothy Therinos, who will be taking his leave. Quiet tonight for Timothy Therinos in terms of output, but if you're Dandenong City, very capable player coming on for him.
Absolutely. 9 goals, as you said, puts him equal 5th in the Golden Boot race at the moment, league-wide. So he's obviously got the pedigree, hasn't he, King Kenny? Here he is with his first touch, entangled with Hall. Stolen back by Sinclair. Worked forward again, looking for Athew. Sinclair once again, who's been the dominant force in midfield for Oakleigh tonight. Noah Holmes has grown into the game as well. Dayu will spread the play out wide to Hampson. He's got Dench ahead of him. Got some speed here, Hampson. Gets the pace up. Dench wants the first time cross. It was blocked on that outer side. And it's actually done a little bit of damage to Valley Chesnick, who goes doubling over and falling onto his back. Trying to catch his breath. Lockie Keevers, the referee, comes over and inspects the damage. Will be a corner for Oakleigh. He's up. He's should be all right to go, Valley Chesnick. Referee giving him plenty of time. So corner coming up here for Oakleigh. Looking to level the game. Sinclair is going to take this corner. Crowded area. Everyone around the goalkeeper.
It's a loopy one. Marum, he went up and then lost it as he looked like he was going to claim that through the air.
Keep an eye on Joe Guest at the top of the box here if it falls to him.
Absolutely.
In a bit of space.
Just a little bit worried there for Marum at the position that he dropped that ball. Comes in again. Pings around for a second. Oh, Marum has slid in the wrong direction and he recovers really well. He dived across to his right, maybe lost his footing. And Oakleigh, for a fleeting moment, had an open goal to look at. Popped up quickly, though, Marum, and gets it out of the danger area.
It's Connor Hampson again who was there, couldn't quite bundle it home. Some good last-ditch work from Dandenong City to make sure that he didn't have as clear a play as it some thought he might have. Here is Connor Hampson. He's been busy. From deep, tried to send it in. It's skewed high by Donny Gurditch and behind for another Oakleigh Cannons corner.
As long as they keep doing this, Oakleigh, obviously they're going to increase their chances at trying to get the goal back. They're just peppering now the final third. Sending in any kind of shot or cross that they can. Winning corners from it.
Kingsley Sinclair over it again. Right-footed. It's bouncing around. Has that crossed the line? Answers no. Goodness. Fair few appeals, but all quickly and definitively waved away by the officiating team. Oakleigh coming close again.
One or two heart-in-mouth moments for Matt Marum, the Dandenong City goalkeeper.
It was Noah Holmes who was in there at the front post for Oakleigh. Lucky not to equalise. Guest wins a throw. Right in front of the loudest Dandenong City fans of the night. Pockets of them right behind this throw. She's taken short. Trying to make something happen there. Dench couldn't quite behind for a goal kick.
Starting to ask the right questions, aren't they?
Yep.
Oakleigh at the moment. Plenty of time left in the contests. And their season not quite on the line at the same with the same sort of high stakes as Dandenong's right now. Oakleigh, just as we mentioned, need just the 1 point to mathematically lock in a spot in the top six. They've got 3 and a bit games to do that to the end of the regular season. Dandenong City are just 1 point outside the top six, so this means a little more for Dandenong City right now. And if they can pull the upset off against a higher ranked opponent, it's going to go a long way with an easy run into the end of the season in their favour.
Particularly true when you consider that Hume are currently drawing 1-1 with Port Melbourne.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now on a live ladder, would have Dandenong City in the 6 right now ahead of Hume. Here's Holmes in midfield. He's got Dench on the right side who's swapped flanks. Mustafa comes in and recovers well. Dench gets in a low ball. Stabbed away by Inaba. Sinclair for Holmes. They'll go around the long way, Oakleigh. Chris Taylor and his men thinking through things. Towards Guest. And over the byline.
So just a tie ball on that game at Broadmeadows for now. Port Melbourne had gone in front in that game via George Mells. Rob Harker answered back for Hume 7 minutes later. That's at 1-1. Preston and Melbourne victory at 0-0. If you can still hear me through the winds.
Where has this come from?
Cyclone Dandenong City, if you do not mind.
The wind is
No,
really picked up.
I'm no weatherman, but I don't think I saw that one coming. See how the players handle it. If he was involved, he'll have it break back to him. Mustafa couldn't get there. Holmes. Dench now over on this right-hand side. Athieu having his shirt pulled. And Lockie Keevers saw it.
Luckily, this gantry that we're standing in, Ollie, is very sturdy. I'd be a little bit more worried if we were in the old setup.
And to break the fourth wall, there was a scissor lift here at one point. If we were stood on that, I would be fearing for my life. Ball sent forward into the box. Bauer couldn't get the right side with the ball of Dayu. Did the body work early, but couldn't take the ball with him. Mustafa here for Dandenong City. Sent one in. Might be there for Jamie Latham, who then couldn't knock it by Hampson. Forward here for Guest, who made the run down the right. Still Joe Guest. He'll go alone for now, then roll it on. It's Juratovic. He is offside. Just the wrong side of that Dandenong City backline, who held themselves well. And Guest, as inventive, as intuitive as he is, couldn't quite play the ball early enough for Adam Juratovic, who had made a good run, if not a little bit early.
Yeah, as is sometimes the case, he was making the run from a good spot, was onside for most of it, and then just as he was waiting for that pass to come to him, drifted off. The defence stepped up a yard or so, and that was at the point that Guest played the pass. So it was a great run actually from Guest. He started wide, and then a little cutback was perfect timing, as there's a long shot opportunity here for Noah Holmes, who saw Matt Marum off his line, and Marum with a little fumble, but he was, for the most part, under control.
How often do we see it when goalkeepers take a little bit of a walk? You watch him now for the rest of the game. He will not try anything of the sort. He wasn't even too far off his line as Holmes is down, clutching at his head. Hopefully he's okay. Treatment will be called for. But you just see it where goalkeepers saunter just a little bit, and then outfielder from the opposition tries to have a look and tries to catch him out. And you just see every movement they make is then very considered. Just to go around the grounds again, Hume have completed a turnaround in first half stoppage time. They now lead by 2-1. We've got a change here for Dandenong City, which will see Diego Cuba introduced for Jamie Latham. That is the Dandenong City change. We wait to see if there'll be one needed here for Oakleigh, with Holmes down.
Seems to be a bit of a concern here for Noah Holmes. Maybe a little bit more serious of a clash than what we thought initially.
Which would be a shame, because he has played really well again tonight. Probably the best spell of football he's shown in an Oakleigh shirt since arriving at the club. Would be a real shame if he was to be forced off here. Of course, his health more important than football. Absolutely.
Understandably taking his time getting back up, and it's going to allow a chance for the players to come across and grab a drink, as Dandenong City are going to make a double change here when the referee is ready. A little bit wobbly on his feet, Noah Holmes, as he gets back up. Jackson Leno is going to come on as well for Hajduk.
Jamie and Bauer was the call, so likely Will Bauer, who will be coming off, and that 23 is going to go up in red.
Looks in no way really to continue on here. Noah Holmes as he comes off. I think he only sort of half knows where he is right now, Noah Holmes.
Tom Alessandratos getting ready.
Yep. So a few attacking moves made, which is always good. Had Kenny Athieu before, now we're seeing, well, for Dandenong City, Diego Cuba coming on. Jackson Leno is a fullback, but can play a little further up, and it looks like he might actually do that. Jackson Leno with Will Bauer coming off, so it's going to be a wing position for Leno. And then Alessandratos is a live wire for Oakleigh Cannons. All the moves being made for hopefully what should be a grandstand last 10 or so minutes, plus stoppages.
And you look at it from an Oakleigh point of view, of course, no one wants to see Noah Holmes go off with injury, but he has been forced off. And in terms of a player to come on for him, particularly where the game is now 1-0 down, Alessandratos is not a bad player to bring on, as Kasumovic has a shy from range. He's dealt with by Matt Marum. It is appearance number 23 this season for Oakleigh's new 23. Split across two clubs, of course, Oakleigh and Port Melbourne, where he started the year. Scored against Oakleigh earlier in the year for Port Melbourne, perhaps prompting the staff at Jack Edwards to have a look, and he's now in Oakleigh blue, as is Brody Boyce, who is on the ball. Alessandro Artos, shown down the line by Sewell, who was watching his every move and stride for stride cut him off, then winning a throw. Corey Sewell, another exceptional showing.
Yeah, these fullbacks tonight have been really impressive for Dandenong City. Sewell and Chesnick, I think, have been really good. They've handled most of the challenges that Oakleigh have thrown at them. It's always tough as well, those challenges that we speak of. We've lost another ball to the abyss. Corey Sewell will take the throw from the near side. Nodded on by Lino. One back by Dayu. Sinclair just lost concentration for a second. Recovers really well. Boyce has Lino advancing on him. Tight confines, Boyce. Winning a throw, Dandenong City. Wind picking up again. He's going to blow that out of play. That's frustrating for Dandenong City. Just as he went to throw that, Corey Sewell, the wind picked it up and blew it in a gust back out of play. So Oakleigh Cannons. Alison Dratos will have to get everything behind this if he's going to cross. He's denied that chance, but a corner coming up for Oakleigh.
I know we're both footy callers, Jordan. I think in that circle we'd be calling this one a 5-goal breeze, which will make this very hard for the Dandenong City players to defend here. This one will be swung in, you'd probably think, on Matt Marham's head. We'll have to see if he can deal with it from there, if it's a good delivery.
Yeah, everyone on their toes as to where this might go. Guests' cross comes in, and there it goes, right over the crossbar and into the fencing behind the goal. Not even close to landing back on earth in the field of play.
And that's the two sides of the same coin. If it's a good delivery, it might be hard to defend, but you've got to put it there.
Yeah.
And what might be considered a good delivery in non-windy conditions might be ruined by the existence of the wind, as shown there by Joe Guest, which is frustrating for him. How about Cuba? On by Athieu for Diego Cuba, who finds Lino. It's Athieu, and one more over. Chance for Yagub Mustafa. Not needed. Shorski, as it was blocked by Dayu. Sent back in. Just it away as far as Corey Sewell, who couldn't keep hold. Dayu couldn't bring it away. Stepping in Chesnick. Right-footed. Swung it. Not 100% sure if it was a cross or a shot. Probably the former, but in the end, not effective either way.
They were lining up, weren't they, the Dandenong City players? Oakleigh was scrambling in defence to cover quickly. They did just enough in the end to deny the opportunities. Flicked forward in the Guest direction. Gurditch got there first. Side-footed out of play by Sewell. The Boyce throw. These teams separated by the goal off a set piece from Gaku Inaba earlier in this second half. His first goal in NPL Victoria football. Set up by Jamie Latham. Set piece. Guest is going to pump this one in for Oakleigh. Flat delivery towards Sinclair. They can recycle it here. Sinclair to Kasumovic. First time ball comes in, bounces through the area, and it was Hall who was there and just stuck a leg out at it, but Marum, good positioning on the line. It was hit straight at him and with not much power. And the goalkeeper for Dandenong City denying the cannons again. Probably could have done better with that in the end, Oakleigh, but Hall was just trying to fling any part of his body to it. They'll come in again here, Oakleigh, right to the byline. There's a scramble on. Juratovic is there, and Gurdish's clearance comes off Juratovic. It'll be a goal kick.
So just under 5 to play in the 90. Dandenong City lead, as they have for the very large majority of this second half. Would be a very, very big win regardless of what happens elsewhere. Particularly given the teams that Dandenong City play. That one will veer out of play, the win taking that one out of play for an Oakleigh throw. Particularly given the teams that Dandenong City got left to play. On paper, you'd be marking it down as 9 points from 9, but football isn't played on paper. Alessandro Artos, edge of the box, ran into trouble, couldn't get himself out of it. Hall up early. Won his header down. Dench towards Alessandro Artos. He's worried out of it. Matthew, was he being pulled back once and then twice? Kept it from Boyce. Couldn't keep it in play. It's an Oakleigh ball. Mustafa winning the battle of the two number 10s in midfield. Gets it back. Mustafa. Boyce back on terms. Did well to hold him up. He was fouled, and goodness me, Corey Sewell. That was very close.
Almost lost my head up here.
Yeah.
It was directed right at me.
Goodness, if we were in the AFL, that was very close to missing a couple of weeks from the concussion protocols. I had my life flash before my eyes then for a split second. Those watching from home don't know about the fears and the OH&S of calling a game of football from Frank Holohan, and everything that you're maybe warned about or you think about that crosses your head almost happened there.
It's a dangerous job, this.
Even with the new media gantry here that blocks you off with the sidewall as Corey Sewell's free kick overhit and behind for a goal kick. Listen, it would have been inch perfect from Corey Sewell if he'd have knocked it into one of our heads and destroyed the wonderful media equipment we got here. Didn't happen, and so we go on. It's crazy how in a 1-0 game with 2.5 minutes to go in the 90, we can find some fun out of it. Amongst all of the seriousness in football circles, at least, we can find something else. Still Dandenong City lead.
Just to go around the grounds at half-time out at Broadmeadows, Hume City scored right before half-time through Lloyd Isgrove to lead 2-1 against Port Melbourne. So from a 1-0 lead, Port, it's now Hume City up 2-1. So this just adds another layer of drama to this finals battle that is going to be contested basically between Hume City and Dandenong City. Preston Lions are only 4 points ahead of Hume City on the table coming into this round, so they're not quite in the clear just yet either, Preston, but the two most direct sort of combatants for position number 6 is Dandy and Hume. And we've been talking about the easy run home for Dandenong City post tonight. Well, Hume City's run home is similarly pretty good as well. They've got St Albans next week, so I'll just bring the fixture back up. And they've also got Port Melbourne and Melbourne Victory too. So they've also got a fairly nice draw. It's, I beg your pardon, Melbourne Knights first. So Port Melbourne tonight, Melbourne Knights, Melbourne Victory, then St Albans for Hume. So they also would be thinking they can bank pretty much the majority of those games as wins, which makes tonight's result for Dandenong City all the more important because they just need to collect as many points as they possibly can in the final month. Here's Kasumovic with Chesnick to his inside. Kasumovic tries to twist out of that bind. Wins a corner for Oakleigh. Riders are about to knock on the door of stoppage time here in this second half at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex.
It's not quite send Jack Warshawski up territory yet. We're not far off it.
Not just yet. So the cross comes in. Nodded away by Danny Kim. Heavy touch from Dayu. And whether it was a handball or not, it's gone out of play, and it's going to be Dandenong City's again.
Question is, how many minutes are we getting after the 90? It looks like 5 is the answer to that. So time enough for Oakleigh to find something. Dandenong City bench asking where 5s come from. But 5 is what we get.
I think a fair response from the 4th official as well, who said there was a pretty long stoppage for that Noah Holmes injury.
Yeah, I'd agree. 5 seems about fair for mine, as Alisson Tratos tried to pick a way through. Out of play for throw. And those questions extend from the coaching staff to the playing staff of Dandenong City, who similarly aren't quite happy with that call. Cuba on towards Lino. Dayu ahead of him. Goes back to Warshawski. Sinclair here for Oakleigh. Gave it away. Mustafa. Matthew furthest forward for Dandenong City is there in the middle. Mustafa will look shorter for Diego Cuba. And Yagub Mustafa again. Chesnick. And still Valley Chesnick to the edge of the box. His shot blocked by Dayu. And offside is Cuba. Fired it straight at Warshawski anyway.
That could have been the final knockout blow. Oakleigh throwing their bodies in the way. Knocked forward by Hall. The vacant left wing at the moment. Juratovic makes his way out there and then is brought down unceremoniously by Chesnick. And this is a dangerous set piece to concede at this time for Dandenong City. In a great area, a good angle as well for Oakleigh.
Slight glance at the bench, by the way, for Jack Warshawski. Wondering whether we need it inside the box. He's staying back.
Well, aside from the goalkeeper and one defender in the form of Kingsley Sinclair, it's everyone else getting forward. It's going to be Guest, most likely. Kasumovic is there, standing over it, but it'll favour Joe Guest. Two-man wall. Critical moments. Guest sends it in. It's a deep ball back post. Goes beyond Boyce. Here's Alisson Dratos on the angle. Pings around for a second. Dandenong City clear their lines at the first time of asking. Second ball comes in, and it's narrowly wide. It took a touch, and it is offside right on the byline. I, for a moment, thought it was a corner, but it was an offside deep on the line. So Dandenong City escaped that moment.
Yeah, whether it's an offside or a goal kick, it's a Dandenong City ball regardless, and that's all that matters. About a couple of minutes to go here in added time. It's sent into the esky by Matt Marum. Not the distribution he was after. And he'll be taking that one again. Warshawski had gone towards the touchline for some reason. He's back. Brody Boyce. About 90 seconds to play in added time. Thrown in. High and away by Gurditch. Lino underneath it. Flicked it on for Cuba, who's sent away. Dayu to recycle here for Oakleigh. It's Hampson, who will roll it left and get it back. Connor Hampson cuts it back and shot blocked away. Couldn't quite find it there, Oakleigh. Boyce, that bounce off an arm and out of play. Couple of opportunities there for Oakleigh. Kingsley Sinclair. Chance to maybe get Oakleigh level. He couldn't quite.
Referees just called for time off as well, so we're going to have more time added on beyond the 5 minutes.
Yagub Mustafa down here.
So it's 5 minutes allocated of stoppages. We'll probably end up playing into the 96th minute now with this. Not a long delay by any means, but just adds a little bit more time onto the clock. Or back onto the clock, rather. The fine margins of stoppage time football, especially when there's 4 weeks to go in the season. You've got a 1-0 lead to protect from Dandenong City. Oakleigh will try and thrust everything forwards, as seen there by that side-footed clearance from Dayu. Picked off by Chesnick. Picked off by Hampson. And now Kasumovic. Head down and running. Works it in. Doesn't beat the first layer of defence. Diego Cuba getting back. Out of play.
Played over the 5. Isolaki Keevers, I reckon. Can't be far off the full-time whistle. "30 seconds from when we restart" is the call from down below. So as soon as this ball is sent flying, we've got 30 seconds. Or less. A massive 3 points for Dandenong City. The joy amongst their ranks palpable from the pitch through the screens. And for now at least, the club from Frank Holohan's soccer complex are inside the top 6. They've knocked off Oakleigh for the first time in their history on their own perch. And for now at least, they are in the top 6. Nick Tolios' men, he'll be smiling on from Greece. And a huge 3 points for this team in the southeast of Melbourne. It was Gaku Inaba's goal the difference after an inch-perfect ball on a dime from Jamie Latham from the free kick. Might be the most important goal to present this season for Dandenong City. Full time from Frank Holohan. It's finished. Dandenong City 1, Oakleigh 0, Dandy City in the 6th, Jordan Canellis.
Amazing. A great win for Dandenong City. That is exactly what they needed. When you opened the fixture and looked at their last 4 games and you saw that, they're probably going to try and do their best to win the last 3 games of the season where they're playing the bottom 3 teams on the table. And who knows what happens with the Oakleigh game. Well, this Oakleigh fixture now is so critical to get these 3 points. Bank as many as you can. It's not an absolute. You're not going to guarantee, of course, that they win every game in their final 3 by any means, because who knows what happens in the run home. Anything can happen, but this was definitely the toughest challenge they've got in the last month. They've come away with the 3 points. They are absolutely ecstatic. They know how important that is. They still need other results to go their way, of course. It's not absolutely in their destiny entirely, but gee, they've done a world of good for their own chances. They've been stuck frustratingly in 7th, just outside the top 6 for quite a number of weeks. I think it's probably nearly edging on 3 months, I think, Ollie, now that they've been just outside the top 6. But for the time being now, with that Hume-Port Melbourne game yet to be completed, they can sit inside the top 6 briefly for now. But it's a character-boosting win, it's a morale-boosting win, and it's a phenomenal win for Dandenong City, who are cock-a-hoop going into back into the sheds.
Yeah, it is Yugu Mustafa playing the role of cheerleader. He's got his shirt off, and he was revving up those fans in the Filipovic stand, or right at the front of it. So just to tie a bow on it, for now at least they're inside the top 6. Hume could retake their spot inside the top 6 with a win. Anything less tonight against Port Melbourne, and they'll be staying there for longer. Dandenong City. But the story, regardless of what happens in Broadmeadows, is with Nick Tolios' team, even if he isn't here. It's Gaku Inaba's first goal in league play for Dandenong City this season that separates the two. A first ever win at this part of the world for Dandenong City over Oakleigh. From Jordan Canellis and from Oliver Walker-Peel, it has been a pleasure to have your company here from a very cold, at times very windy, Frank Holohan Soccer Complex, but now a celebratory Frank Holohan Soccer Complex as the hometown Dandenong City take all 3 points. Take care, stay safe, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and goodbye for now.